Well, hello there, my friend. Take a seat here by the fire and let me tell you this. If you find yourself in another world and decide to sell a business, you should probably take a Business 101 class beforehand. Isekaitus Session 4 r/D&D stories posted by Zyphos. So, due to Halloween, we ended up taking a break and just had our next session. A few things of note happened this session, including the party's first combat. So Mike figures out how to make ice cream with what he has on hand and makes something passably resembling said treat. He tries to sell the method of making it to the innkeeper for 40 platinum to an early Bronze Age civilization. Anyone notice the problem here? Well, for those who are unaware, platinum has a melting point higher than what can be obtained with the current level of tech. After explaining that 40 platinum is equivalent to 400 gold, the innkeeper immediately refuses the offer. Mike then threatens to sell the recipe to the competition and is refused again and kicked out. This is the same inn that gave him free lodging and food, mind you. Annoyed that he has lost round 1 of the No FU contest he initiated, Mike decides to try to make good on his threat and offers to sell the recipe and method to the competition, this time asking 200 gold. He is again refused, thus losing round 2. Now even more annoyed at the fact that no one will pay a ridiculous price for a recipe, he decided to do some predatory marketing by getting children to try his ice cream and bug their parents. When asked how much he was charging, Mike proudly said 2 gold, for essentially the equivalent of 2 to 3 scoops. No one was willing to pay even half that. Mike was willing to lower the price to 8 silver, however, and managed to sell 9 servings, so called round 3 a draw. The group faffs about the rest of the day until nightfall, and Mike, having been kicked out of his lodging for being needlessly greedy and rude, decides to freeload off the temple, a trend that will be coming to an end soon enough. The following morning, the group leaves for Chinchar. By day's end, they have arrived at a river separating them from a blighted hellscape of a desert and are informed that it's best to keep your distance from the river because crocodiles. The group makes more than one Steve Irwin joke. On the first night here, Alex wakes in the middle of the night to see a dark figure crouching in the shadows. Alex is unable to move anything but her eyes, but not for the lack of trying. After a short time, the figure stands up. A full 8 feet tall, he skims on the roof of the tent and closes the distance in 2 massive steps. The figure reaches out 2 long spindly fingers and shut Alex's eyes, saying, "Sleep, my child," and Alex falls back to sleep. To this point, there has been no combat. However, I decide to change that on this day. The group breaks camp easily enough and sets out. Alex is noticeably perturbed by last night's events and gets the 3rd degree, ultimately sharing what happened. About halfway through the travel day, the group runs into a pair of axe beaks. Will is nearly killed by this, but escapes with only a deep gash, a broken collarbone, and several stitches. The group kills the axe beaks, which are then butchered, and that is where the session ended. First off, do not take business lightly. I'm not going to go too in-depth about it because, frankly, I don't have the time here. But there are millions of people in the world who try to start their own businesses and honestly can never get it off the ground because they underestimate the process. You can have the best idea ever, but if you're not smart about it and don't know how to go about implementing it, then that's all you got. An idea. There's so many things you got to keep in mind, like supply and demand, understanding the current marketplace, quality control, and so forth. Also, if you want 400 gold for something, and the person you're trying to sell it to can't afford it, then no matter what you do, they just can't afford it. Plus, never bite the hand that's feeding you. Your goal is to always try and establish good relationships because you never know what could happen in the future. That's a bit of a free business tip right there for you. In business, you just gotta keep that hustle on. It ain't easy. And that's our story. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button for more future content. Also, if you would kindly follow the socials posted in the description, that would be amazing. As always, be good, be great, be awesome.